Paul in Woodinville, Washington. Hey, Paul, thanks for calling. Thanks for listening. What's up?
Well, Tom, I was thinking that I guess now is the time for us to call our members of Congress, and I don't mean just Democrats, but Republicans too, and urge them to insist that Donald Trump, as the top federal employee in the country, now release his tax returns. He's employed by we the people. We are the employee. The Supreme Court has upheld drug testing and background checks in private employment. I think seeing his tax returns are part of a background check, yes.
You know, I'd like to see it, Paul. I'll make a prediction here. Now, I might be completely wrong. And it certainly won't be framed the way that I'm framing it. But you will understand where I'm going with this in just a second. My prediction is going to be that the Republican meme on all this lack of transparency by Donald Trump and the probability of associative ties between his business enterprises and his being president of the United States will be spun. Let me just preface this a little bit. Remember when Mitch McConnell said, you know, we're not going to let President Obama even have a hearing on his last nominee? Mm-hmm. And he said, oh, there's precedent for that. You know, it goes back to 1828 or something like that, but it happened. And it really wasn't precedent. It wasn't this kind of a situation. But, you know, it was close enough that they could kind of twist it around and cause people to think, oh, wow, so these guys aren't so crazy. They're doing something that has been done before. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. So here's how I think, and again, maybe I'm wrong. Here's how I think they're going to play this. In 1789, when George Washington was made president of the United States, Mount Vernon, the company he owned, the concentration camp that he owned, was one of America's largest industries. Louise and I took a tour of Mount Vernon a couple of months ago, and first time, never seen it before. And I was amazed. He was manufacturing horseshoes. He was manufacturing swords. He was manufacturing. I mean, he had a major steel manufacturing operation going there. He was literally exporting finished food products to Europe in some cases, but in particular to other states. Mount Vernon was a major commercial enterprise. So our first president was running his own business while he was president. And by the way, the major thing that made his business profitable was slaves. And that was something that he worked very vigorously to maintain as president. Then you go to John Adams. John Adams was arguably not that, right? Which is why, you know, some people think John Adams was so noble. He really didn't have a business. He wasn't a man of wealth. But he was you know, crazy. You know, by the time, you know, his wife, you know, he became basically a semi-fascist. So which led to Thomas Jefferson. Well, Jefferson was just like Washington. He was running a business. It was Monticello. It was based on slavery. He maintained slavery. You go to James Madison, the next president, same deal. Go to James Monroe, the next president, same deal. And they're going to say, you know, we're just going back to the founding principles. The original guys who ran this country also ran businesses. They continue to run those businesses while they were in the White House. And what's wrong with Donald Trump doing it now?
Well, I guess it comes down to this: is what are the issues now? The issues are not George Washington, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson. So when I look at precedents, you have to look at what precedents are most apt when they're recent precedents. And we just had this man, this president-elect, insisting that the previous president release his birth certificate.
No, you know, Paul, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not defending Donald Trump.
No, I understand.
I'm saying that I'm expecting that this is going to be the meme that they're going to throw out in the next few days, or the next week or so, and to kind of deflate the argument against him.
Okay, but then what we're getting to, Tom, is we're getting to a competition of memes. So, in other words, these are all political.
Exactly.
These are all political maneuvers. What I'm suggesting, because there is probably nothing in law that would insist that he releases.
There is nothing in the law.
As a meme by saying he's the top federal employee. We are the employer. By the way, who's holding his tax return? Us. We are. The federal government is holding the tax return.
But see, the law, but Paul, the law that requires federal employees to disclose things like that explicitly excludes the president.
Okay, again, it's a political meme.
Yes.
That's what I'm driving at is if they're going to use a meme that, let's look at it this way: how are the American to which will the American people most likely respond? Is it, oh no, George Washington and John Adams and Thomas Jefferson ran a business, therefore it's okay for Donald Trump, or hey, listen, the interest of transparency, we just threw out the establishment, which we decided because we've decided they're not transparent enough and we're not getting what we don't know anything, but it's okay for Donald Trump. So far, Donald Trump's gotten away with a hell of a lot just because he says so. It's because what's going on now is he could deflect that by saying, I'm a private citizen, I'm just running for president. And he did say, when my tax returns are not under audit, I'll release them. And it's like, now that he won, it's almost like, well, now I'm king, I don't have to.
Right.
Well, it's more important than ever that he show that he can be transparent. And so, again, I
see, from your point of view and my point of view.
It's a political meme that I'm suggesting, Tom. It is.
Yeah, but you know, and I think this is going to be a war of memes, and I agree with you, and I think it's going to be, you know, you're going to have the Republicans using the Washington Jefferson example or something else. I mean, there might be something more contemporary. Maybe Herbert Hoover didn't put his stuff in a private trust. I don't know. But you know, they will figure out a way to
and look at the results
to normalize this. Yeah, well, that's Hoover may, you know, not be the best example, but he may be their only example. Who knows? But you know, the media, you know, is to some extent normal. I mean, look at what he did last night with Shinzo Abe. He had the Prime Minister of Japan here for what could be described as a state visit. I mean, it's not a formal state visit because Donald Trump isn't formally yet the president. But you know, it should have been treated that way. And Trump would not let the press in at all, at any point. There's a picture that was taken by his photographer that was passed out to the press. A couple of the networks showed it. Most of the networks are refusing to show it as a way of trying to push back against Trump. And you know, how long do you think that's going to last? I think this guy has gotten away with not literally with murder, but he's gotten away metaphorically with murder his entire life.
Well, I look at it this way. If we let Donald J. Trotsky get away with this, we'll have Stalin soon enough. I
don't disagree. And as I've been saying for a week now, you know, this show is Resistance Central, and we're going to fight this. But I just, you know, and I applaud you for thinking about this, Paul, and you know, and making a suggestion. And I agree with you. I just, you know, I think it's important for us to know what, you know, what in all probability is going to be coming at us from the other side. And that's you know, for lack of a better word, that's my prediction. And I suspect that this is going to die as soon as they can come up with something that's more of a crisis. You know, Kim Jong-un goes nuts or something. It'll just push all this off and Donald Trump is the master of changing the news cycle. You know, and the networks are going to love it. I mean, they just inked a 4-year contract with America's top reality star, and he's going to give them a show. He's absolutely going to give them a show. So we're just going to have to take it day by day, in my opinion. Paul, thank you for the call.